Yes, welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is UEFA Super Cup Day, but we have not yet completed a UEFA Super Cup capable team. I'm joined by the Cookmeister. I'm sure we'll have other guests, but right now we're starting off with the best guests. It's the Cookmeister from the Two Mark Show. Mark, fresh back from holiday. How are you, my man? Are you good?
I'm very well, Savva. Very well. Thanks for having me on. Morning to
Always.
all the chat. Hope you're all well. And, well, yeah, it's true, mate. I am the best. People need to get to know that. And I'm here. So what can I say? Only joking, people. There you go.
Mate, listen, you are the best. By the way, I had a few mic issues. When people say that, they always say get a new mic. Sometimes, though, StreamYard change settings and you have to go, hang on, what's going on? So apologies. I'm sure you were all okay, making a cup of tea or whatever you were doing in the background. Obviously, breaking news that we will get into. Cuti Romero is the new captain of Tottenham Hotspur. Mark and I will be getting into this in due course. We've got the UEFA Super Cup final tonight, which, of course, I will be doing a live watch-along for. Coverage will start at 6 p.m. Match starts at 8. And the ongoing transfer sagas that are Eberici Eze and the one they call Savio of Manchester City. It's divided the fan base. Not that people don't want them, but whether or not people think these deals will get over the line. Mark, where to start this morning? Let's start with the breaking news. Cuti Romero. I would say it was breaking news and shocking news, but like we talked about off screen, it felt pretty much that with the injury to Maddison, he was really the only candidate. And we'll talk about if that's worrying later. But do you agree with that it was always going to be Cuti Romero?
Yeah, it seemed that way, Sav, didn't it? I mean, he's been with us a few years now, and people have people have questioned his commitment to the club. Now, what I would like to see is, as he's been named captain, Savva, I don't want it to go down that route of we've had a bit of an iffy season and he disappears and then there's rumour of him going again. If he's committed and he's going to be a captain, sign a contract.
Yeah.
Right, sign a new contract. Show everyone, yeah, I am committed. I am proper committed to being the captain of this football club. Yeah. That's what I want to see.
No, absolutely. By the way, I've just recorded the video for the Spurs 5 that I put out. And listen, the first minute of me was saying, congratulations to Cuti. Think he's the right choice in many aspects. But you can't ignore the elephant in the room that is the contract situation. This is a man where, listen, we know he's talented. I don't think the issue has ever been the talent. I think it's been about, has he got the loyalty? Yeah. He's done a few things in the last year, which obviously the club was in a bit of a state. So I'm happy to let that slide. But he has done a few things in the last year where you go, okay, are you committed? And you've got the injury issues on top of that. So it's almost a no-brainer, but with a few question marks at the side. I think that's fair.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, at the end of the day now, Thomas Frank's named him captain, so we'll see what he's all about. We can go down the road of, well, he's a World Cup winner, he's done this, he's done that. Now he's got to show it. Show you are proper committed to the cause of being captain for Tottenham. Raise your game. Don't be as injured as much as you have been, because if you're the captain, you need to be on the pitch. More often than not. So, listen, for me, it was the only choice that there could have been, logically, for him to be. And like we were saying off air, it'll be interesting to see how this leader group shape thing takes place now that he's named his captain.
Yeah, well, as we talked about just now backstage, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? Because when I was growing up, and obviously when you were growing up, which was a little bit before I was growing up, there was no such thing as leadership groups. It was like, you had your captain and everyone knew who the captain was and the captain ran the show. And then the leaders within the group kind of naturally stepped up to the plate. So if you look, for example, A great example of this would probably be, you look at Tottenham, you had people like Gary Mabbott, who was a leader. You had other players around him that would step up to the plate. Pat Van den Hauwe. Like Pat Van den Hauwe was a leader of men. He didn't need to be appointed a leader. You wouldn't argue with Pat, would you, Mark? You wouldn't.
No.
No one's going to. Right. You don't argue with Pat. You wouldn't argue with, you got people in the midfield like David Howes, like leader of men. You had people, Gary Lineker, more of a silent kind of through his actions as a leader.
Yeah.
So I'm not really into this leadership group stuff, but it seems to be all the rage, right?
Yeah. It's not. I mean, most managers seem to talk about it now when they're appointed, and we saw with Ange what his leadership group was for the last couple of seasons. I'm like you, mate. I'm a bit old school, to be honest with you. I know things change, but you have a captain. Back in the day, you'd have a vice captain as well.
Yeah.
On the pitch, like you say, there'd be 3 or 4, if not more, that were regarded as captains, if you like, in their own right. So you had 5 or 6 on the pitch. I think a big word back then was respect, Savva. The players had a lot of respect for each other, on the team. If there were players that were leaders in the team, you didn't need to be the captain to have to say, if you wanted to say something or do something. And it's changed a little bit now. So we'll see how it goes with the leadership group and Cuti as captain. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think with Romero, I've always been of the opinion that, for me, he's got to get fit. I mean, I think that this goes without saying. You don't want a leader that is not fit. And hopefully this is the year that Thomas Frank can keep him out there. Hopefully he'll get some buy-in now from Cuti Romero. The fact that Frank's come in, immediately made him the captain of the football club.
Yeah.
For me, it's about consistency. It's about staying fit, keeping consistent, and get that contract signed. If you do all of those things, we're all good, right?
Yeah.
If you don't, if a new contract goes in front of this guy now and he doesn't sign it, you've got to have a look and go, well, why not? And we know that he has not wanted to sign a new contract for the last year. Now, maybe that's, I don't know, the old tactics, the old manager, old setup, lack of transfers. Maybe he's been promised transfers now. It's all speculation, right, Mark? I don't know. But at the end of the day, if that contract negotiation comes around again, he's got to get that signed, right? He's got to put you've actions louder than words, right?
Yeah, definitely, Sav. Look, it's like someone put in the chat earlier on. Where is it? Yeah, let me see it. Have we got? What was it? A case of we haven't got the choice, or Thomas Frank didn't have the choice of? Well, yeah, he could be a captain. He could. But really, it all boiled down to Romero was really the only choice. Now Maddison's out. Maybe they could have gone if Kulusevski was still fit. But again, he's another long-term absentee. You know, just another name I'm putting out there. I'm not saying that I would have wanted him as captain.
Sure.
It's just gone down the route of whether you think it's the safest route or not. I don't know, but he gives the vibes of a captain. He may need to talk a bit more. People were saying that in a little interview he's done, his English was a lot better than what they thought it was. How he came across. Listen, he's going to have to talk.
Do you know what, Mark? It normally is. And I think what we've got to realise is a lot of these people where English isn't their first language, they don't always do a lot of interviews because it can be, if they get the word wrong or their pronunciation of the word is wrong, you open yourself up to a can of worms. But listen, he can speak English, right? And for me, I've got no problem with all that side of things. For me, it's, does he want to be here? It's okay saying you want to be here in the short term, but sign that contract, get yourself fit. They're the two key things for me. I'll never budge from that.
Yeah, I agree with that. His availability needs to be a lot better than it has been over the last couple of years. So having a captain that only plays half your games, I don't think that is a solution. You need him out there. in more games than not. Let's say, put it that way. That side of his game, that side of him has got to improve. I'm sure Thomas Frank would have his eye on that as well. He would have known that he'd missed a few games over the last couple of years. So he's picked him, Sav. It is what it is. Let's see him get on with the job, and let's see him lead this team. Let's have a proper leader and lead this team onto better things on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I said in the video I've just done there, I fully expect that Romero I think he'll have his best season in a Spurs shirt. And a lot of that is to do was before today. I didn't say that because of today, but that adds to it. I think a lot of me saying that was he's now going to be in a proper defensive setup. We can argue the toss that for 2 years under Conte, it was he playing with great players? We can argue the last 2 years that he was playing in a setup which didn't focus on helping centre-backs at all. But also one of the key things I think why he's going to have his best season for us to date is the signing of Paulinho. And Sean Butler and I had this conversation about 3 months ago. We were saying, get Paulinho. Get Paulinho. And the thing I turned around to Sean and said, and he backed it up, was imagine Van de Ven and Romero, the sigh of relief from those two that they've got a number 6 in front of them.
Yeah.
And I think that all of that combined and the fact that the fullbacks will be playing as fullback, I think he'll have his best season yet. That's my opinion. Because
he's in a structure, Sav. He's in that what he's used to going into, whether it be with Argentina, whether it be with Spurs, whoever it might be. And to know that you've got that player in front of you and you're not playing gung-ho, do you know what I mean? And if you do, there was many comments last year, Sav, where you said he's stepping out too far. He's stepping too far forward, leaving himself open, as they were stepping in. He's got Paulinho now this year. So if he does step, or Van de Ven does step, that communication should be there for Paulinho to drop off. You know where I'm coming from with it.
Absolutely. If you're going to go flying into midfield, or I've got no problem every now and then my centre half wants to drive forward with a ball. We see Virgil van Dijk do it. We see people like John Stones and Ruben Diaz have done this all their career. But what they've always known, those clubs, is they've got midfielders who sit in front of them that will go, okay, he's going on a run. Let me sit. Last season, the season before, they were going for a run, leaving Van de Ven on his own, for example, and you'd be like, Jesus Christ, hang on, lose the ball, you're in all sorts of trouble. But I don't think it'll be that. Listen, I don't mind admitting, I've been a big critic of Romero. That hasn't changed, by the way. Me thinking he'll have a better season isn't me going, oh my God, suddenly I think he's amazing. I've been a big critic of Romero's. I want to see consistency from Romero. We know in massive games, in the biggest games, Romero thrives. Yeah? Hats off to you, sir, because some people don't. I want to see that he does that every game. I want to know that 38 games a season in the Premier League, that man comes off the pitch and we go, God, he's solid, isn't he? He's reliable.
Yeah.
That's all I've asked for. And I know people get a bit precious about, oh my God, you've critiqued a Spurs player. You're horrible. But that's what I want to see, especially now he's a leader. I want to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he'll either step up massively. So I don't think there's going to be this just what you've seen from the last 2 seasons. He's either going to step forward, and raise his game, like you say, and make the consistency. I think that's what all of us, with all the Spurs players, want to see more of, more consistency on a regular basis. But, he is the man now. He is the Tottenham captain, and it's up to him in all aspects, whether it be on the pitch, in the changing room, whatever it is, Sav, to galvanise these players, because he's the geezer now that's got to turn up every morning 100% on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is part of his job there. It's not just the field, it's all the other stuff as well. And he needs to become a leader of men for Tottenham Hotspur. And let's hope that he goes on to do that.
And look, he's got to a good age now. He's 27 years of age. But as I've said, you know, and we won't dwell on I feel like there could have been a debate, like if we'd had more options. But I look at the squad and go, I don't think there is. Right? I don't think there is a debate. Paulinho possibly, if he'd been here a tiny bit longer, maybe someone they're buying in, they might see as a leader, part of the leadership group, and obviously we won't know that yet. So for me, I think, pretty much what my man Ash says. You know, Romero was the only option. He needs this responsibility to keep him focused. I think that's what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
But maybe that responsibility makes him say, hang on, I will sign a contract. I will be on it every day. But listen, we'll see, right? Watch him be man of the match today. Listen. I'm not going to put tonight on him. We'll talk about that later. But I don't think some fans realise how difficult tonight's going to be. I will talk later. Like somebody earlier in the chat said, this is a must-win game tonight. Let's move on to that, Mark. I mean, are we really saying PSG in the UEFA Super Cup is a must-win? Like, don't get me wrong. Win it. Absolutely fantastic. I don't see how we could possibly say this is a must-win game against the best team in world football right now. Like, fans really are a little bit funny, aren't they? Really are a little bit funny.
Listen, Sav, at the end of the day, as football fans, I don't think it matters who you play against, You should want to win. You should want to win. And fans of that club should be fully behind you, wanting to win. You know, it is such a difficult game tonight. I mean, I think you've done it on one of your shows. You've put their team up, and I think they're pretty much there, apart from one on-field player and the goalkeeper. Excuse me. Now, just slightly going off, still on the subject, but going off a bit. When that is written down, Savva, that PSG team, and I know games are not won on paper, but they are an absolutely amazing football team.
Class.
They've learned, you know, number one, they're quality players. They're top line players, you know. And when you've got top line players and you've got a manager like Luis Enrique that can extract things from players, can not just players that can do, you know, great things in one-off things. This team, this PSG team, themselves, they move the ball around great, Savva. And what we was talking last night about how would be the best way. Do you try and nullify them like we did with teams in the Europa League last year? Do you pack your midfield out a bit more, try and nullify their midfield a little bit because they play a sort of a 4-3-3? Do we sort of go 5 in midfield and even possibly go 3 at the back? I don't know if Thomas Frank would do that. But I think if we match them up in a 4-3-3, we're going to be in big trouble. Because all they'll do is, you saw with Bayern the other day, if we only press singularly and in doubles and don't press as a team, Bayern just played round us. And I can see exactly the same scenario happening if we go pressing in that game against PSG. Be very interesting, though, Sav, to see how Thomas Frank tries to deal with their ability, especially in the midfield areas when they're trying to get the ball forward, PSG, how he tries to deal with that. Because we can sit here and say, you know, 5 in midfield, do this, do that, do that. It's not as easy as that, man. When they're out there on the pitch, you know, it's gonna be hard work for Spurs. I've got no doubt. But we'll see how he sets up, mate. We'll see how he sets up.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think it's going to be tough. I think you're right. Look, football isn't won on paper. Sometimes it is, though. Like sometimes.
Yeah.
I look at it and say, I'd love to win this. It'd be great. What a statement, beating PSG. But I don't go along with the lines of this sets the tone for the season. No. I don't feel like losing to PSG is the end of the world. Last year, Inter Milan got knocked out by PSG. Arsenal got knocked out by PSG. Whoever else they beat on the route to the Champions League final, they beat PSG. So I really don't think that this is a must-win game that sets the tone. But I am disappointed slightly that we're going into the game not prepared. Yes. I am disappointed that we're going into this game and we've not given Thomas Frank any real chance. I mean, I think if Thomas Frank pulls off this win tonight, that's the best win we've had for years. If I'm honest, I know people will say the final, but the final was against a really crappy Man United team. If we find a way to beat PSG, I think that would be our biggest win for years. I'm not expecting it, though. I'm not being defeatist. I know people call that negative. I'm just not expecting the win, Mark. I think this is a ridiculous team. This is a ridiculous team.
They're a mad team, mate. Honestly, the ability that they've got all over the pitch is amazing. And I agree with you. What you're saying about it's not the end of the world if we get beat. But what it is, Savva, if they did manage to beat them by hook or by crook, it's a massive confidence lifter for them. You know, for the players themselves going into Burnley at the weekend, if they manage to, whether it's however, I don't care, you know, get a draw and win on penalties, it don't matter to me. What I want to see more than anything else, Savva, is that they're playing against the best team in the world. Number one, I want to see how we deal with it when we haven't got the ball. I think that's our biggest bugbear, you know, and has been for years. Too many players standing still, watching, not following runners, all that sort of stuff. You know, I want to see us be able to be, what's the word, Sarah? Is it combative against the better teams? We saw against Bayern the other day, you know, that when they started to turn it on a bit and when their subs came on, we looked a bit lost. Do you know what I mean? We just don't shut and track well enough. And I think Thomas Frank will bring that in to Tottenham because he starts at the back and works his way forward. Get them six at the back, you know, your four at the back and your two midfielders if you're going to play with two, a Paulinho and one other, Bentancur, whoever it might be. Get that structurally sound. Get them players knowing where they need to be going, with and without the ball. Yeah? And then hopefully we'll move along and we'll see an improvement. But again, Sav, it ain't going to happen overnight. He says he's got a plan. He says he's got a plan for today in his interview. Ben Davies said, we've been working on little bits and pieces. I know they have to say that in the interviews, you know. But the boss came out afterwards and said exactly, he was asked exactly the same question. He said, look, I can't tell you too much, but we've been working on bits and pieces that will hopefully give us a better chance of winning tonight. So
absolutely. And look, just before I welcome Ben and his hat to the show, Leeds United have just reached an agreement with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. For anyone who's interested, free agent Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I stream with a few Leeds fans, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to be best pleased with this one. But hey, that's them, and I don't take the piss out of other club signings because you never know what Spurs are going to dish up for us. So I'll hold my powder dry on that one. Ben, welcome. Good morning, sir. How are you, and how is the coffee shop?
It's good. The window is now officially fixed, so we're finally able to buy coffee this month. So we're waiting for our coffee order. So let's chill out with you boys and talk about a very exciting. I'm not worried about today. And people are going to say, "Oh, we're going to get battered." What we should be treating this as? We should be treating this as a school day. It's very rare you get to see Tottenham Hotspur play against. In my opinion, you might disagree with me at the moment. You might put other teams above them. I think PSG are the best team in world football currently.
Oh, massively.
I think they're the best. I think they're the best team in world football. This will be an amazing test for a really fledgling team with a couple new players in, with players like Paulinho in, Romero as a captain for a first time in a big game. It's going to be a wonderful learning experience. If we get battered, we get battered. But at least we've learned and we get to see how Thomas Frank is going to adapt to these big games. And this is one of the reasons people wanted Thomas Frank in, is he will look at the opposition. He will study individual weak points of a team and say, I can exploit that if I do this. It'll be nice to see some tactics tonight and see if we can we pull it off? Can we pull it off?
Listen, I agree with a lot of what you said, but I do think to be able to be tactically flexible, to be able to adapt, I think you've got to have players.
Sure,
like you've got to have the players. My biggest worry, I've said this all week, I've not changed my mind. Nothing will change my mind, even if I see the lineup, because I know the players that are available. I can't see where the attacking creativity is coming from. This is my big issue. You've got no centre forward that can hold the ball up. You've got no playmaker in the team at all that can get the ball, bring others into the game, slip through. You've got none of that. You've got one good winger in Kudus who keeps getting doubled up on. And listen, Luis Enrique would have done his homework. He's a top. He's one of the best for me, Luis Enrique. Yeah. I don't see where it's coming from. But what I do think we need to do is stay compact, stay solid. And can we win set pieces? You know what I mean? Can we get corners? Can we? Other than that, I don't want to be negative about it. I don't. If we were going into this, Ben, with Savinho on the left, Eze in the hole, right? Pause. Kudus on the right. Suddenly, I'm going, yeah, we can get at them, but Tell, Johnson, Odegaard, maybe Bergvall or Sarr in the 10. It doesn't do anything for me to say, oh, PSG are going to be worried. Sorry if that makes me negative.
It's going to be an interesting game because I make you right on that one. But might we see something a bit different? Might we see, as you say, let's stay compact. Why don't we go? Because we've got an abundance of centre-backs at the moment. Why don't we go a 3-5-2? And one of the things I think we can get at PSG in the fullback areas, because their fullbacks do love to go forward, don't they? They love to go forward.
We haven't got any wingers
So we go 3-5-2. Put Spence and Johnson as the wing backs, and say the moment you get the ball, 90 dare to Dawson, as it were, 90-yard diagonal ball behind their fullback. See if we can get at them. Maybe play two pacey forwards. We can't hold the ball up. You're right. So maybe instead of playing a Solanke or a Richarlison who can't hold the ball up and fall over, maybe instead of them two, go for Johnson and Kudus up front. Go for pacey players. Put the ball in behind their fullback. Full-blown counter-attacking football. Maybe we can see something like that. There's always ways to get at a team. No team, apart from that Barcelona team under Pep Guardiola, was fundamentally perfect. Every team has its weak points.
I don't think it's about perfect. I think it's about... I don't rate, other than Kudus, I don't rate those forward players in any way, shape or form. That's my problem. And let's be fair. If you are Hakimi, if you are, by the way, one of the most improved players last year, Nuno Mendes, right? If you're Mendes, if you're Hakimi, I don't think you're worried tonight, right? I don't. And listen, I want to give a good account of ourselves, but for me, I'll be honest, I'm more worried about us being ready for Saturday. I'm more worried about, we'll talk about signings later, but I'm more worried about a few bodies being in the door, ready for Saturday, because we don't want to start with a Burnley home game and not pick up 3 points. Super Cup's great, but it doesn't actually affect where you finish in the league, does it? It doesn't, if we turn around and go, we won the Super Cup, yeah, but we finished mid-table and got knocked out of all the cups, no one's going to say, well, we won the Super Cup. So I'm just worried. I'm worried they've not given this manager the tools at all right now.
We've always got to be worried about that, don't we, Savva?
Always.
All I know is it's a very good day in Spurs history, and it's a school day. Let's just learn from this experience, enjoy the performance, enjoy the game. No one's going to expect us to win anyway, so just enjoy it. Use it as a learning curve, and if we can put a few punches on PSG, that stands us in good stead for the Premier League, because there aren't many teams in the Premier League that are as good as this Paris Saint. There are probably 3 teams in this league, Liverpool, City and Arsenal, that are as good as this PSG team. I know Chelsea beat them, but it's knockout football. Anything can happen in any game of football on a day. If we can put some punches on PSG, if we can put some punches on PSG, that will stand us in good stead for the season, and it can really give us a bit of confidence going into the new season. That's what we should use it as. But it's learning experience and see where these players are at.
No, I completely agree. I mean, Mark, obviously the fans are going to have some trepidation because the last time we played a game, it was 4-0 versus Bayern. Bayern are very similar to PSG in the aspect, very different football teams, but in the aspect of that front 3-4 going forwards, for Bayern, when you look at Elise, Diaz, Coman, and Kane, PSG are going to have what? I mean, their normal front three is what? Kvaratskhelia, Doué, and Dembele.
Yeah.
It's a big test for Spurs, isn't it? It's great to be playing against these top players just to see, one, how far away we are, and two, the level of the Champions League winners, right?
Yeah, it gives everyone a good look at, I don't know, what's Thomas Frank been in there? 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it is.
Not even that, yeah.
Yeah, he's been able to do a little bit on the training ground, I would imagine. But you'll get to see, we've said it 1,000 times, Sav, you know, we've played 2 years with no structure as such.
Sure.
He's going to be asking players to do things that they haven't been doing for the last 2 years. Some, it could be simple instruction that they haven't been being told, you know. Other things, it could be, you know, he's asking the players to do things that they haven't done at all, new things, bringing it into their game. It's okay coaching players individually, but Thomas Frank has got his team with him. He's got Cochrane. He's brought everyone with him from Brentford. Yeah. And like we've said before, he doesn't necessarily need to be there all the time because all his backline staff are all drilled with what he wants from his players, with what Thomas Frank wants from his players. I said ages ago that it was massive that Thomas Frank's backroom staff came in with him, to give this team some solidity. He's starting at the back. He started with that. We've now got Paulinho in. And he's got to move forward. Like you said, Savva, he's not being backed at the moment, apart from Kudos. You know, in the frontline players, we desperately need these, what I would call Savinho, Eze, and a few others that have been mentioned.
We need some stardust. We need some stardust.
We need them in. They've got to come in because it's no point you asking your back six to go and win the ball. Yeah, bang, we've gone and won the ball. You give it to one of your attacking players and they've got nothing. They've got nothing for you.
Mark, I said this all pre-season. If you actually look at us, and I know people will argue this because we lost 4-0 to Bayern, but if you actually look at Bayern, a lot of the goals were very good finishes. Could we have closed better? Of course, and you know, but it wasn't actually our defensive structure, our defensive shape that was the problem. The problem is when we do win the ball, and the defense were very good at winning the ball, if you don't have a target man that can hold the ball up, if you don't have players that can bring others into the game, all that means is you win it, bounces back. It's like, watch a team. How many times have we seen this in football, guys? When a team's losing 1-0, right? A team like Man City's losing 1-0. And you go, right, Man City, for the last 20 minutes, you know they're going to have all the football. The other team's going to put 10 men behind the ball. Kind of like when they played Arsenal, who had 10 men, right? All Arsenal could do was clear it, but had no one to hold it up. What happens? Next attack, next attack, next attack. And the problem is, if you allow teams to attack, they are going to score goals. And especially when you've got the likes of Kvaratskhelia, Doué, Barcola, Gonzalo Ramos, Dembele. Sorry. Thank you. So I'm not saying we can't defend well. I think we'll be in a good shape. I think we'll be in a good structure. Sometimes it is just that class and quality that wins you games. And the shame of tonight for me, guys, is I love watching PSG play. That's the shame of it, right? I want to watch Doué. I want to watch Kvaratskhelia. I want to watch, I know Neves isn't playing, but I want to watch Ruiz and Vitinha on the ball. And tonight we're going to get to see it. Tonight we're going to get to see them, how they dictate a game and how they attack us.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, mate. Like you said earlier on, it'll be interesting to see if we do get put under the cosh a bit, how Thomas Frank adjusted. I think it's going to be interesting, to be honest, Savva and Ben, how he actually puts the team out in the first place, as in the formation that he picks. He hasn't really gone with a three at the back yet. I've got this inkling that he might do it, and flood the midfield. I've just got this inkling that he might go free, and rather than going his way of 4 with 2 in front, I just think he might we've got nothing going forward, right? Mm-hmm. So could it be a case of he tries to flood the midfield to stifle the movement of PSG, because they're very good at moving the ball sideways and forward to create space. They wait for the space, and then they've got 10 players that are all capable of making that pass when that space is available, So for me, it's all about tonight shutting down as a unit, not so much even pressing as a unit. Pressing's the wrong word for me, that we do need to press, but if we over press, they're just going to play around us. You know what I mean?
They've got people that move the ball quickly. And I mean, listen, look, little Vitinha's a bit of a magician, but listen, let's look at the positive for us. Positive for us is PSG haven't done anything for a month. They haven't played a game of football for a month since the World Club Cup. So it's not completely inconceivable, but what I don't want to do, Benny, I don't want to make this into such a big deal like it is a Europa League final or an FA Cup final. Do you know what I mean? I do feel that
it's like the Charity Shield. It's the Charity Shield.
It's the European Charity Shield. And what I don't want is, if we lose to PSG, and there's a high probability of that suddenly the meltdown, see, Frank's done it. I just hope that we don't get that, because the fallout from losing to Bayern Munich, I've never seen fans overreact to a pre-season defeat like last week. It was truly embarrassing, if I'm honest.
It's not many teams beat PSG. Not many teams are beating PSG at the moment, so we can't use that as you lost to PSG. Well, so did loads of teams last year. PSG beat all of the top 5, didn't they? I think they beat all of the top 5 Premier League teams, except for Newcastle. They didn't play Newcastle. They beat Villa. They beat Arsenal. The PSG beat a lot of the Premier League teams last year. They're a very good team.
Well, I mean, listen, the game they played against Liverpool. Now, bear in mind, this is Liverpool,
that's
the champion of England.
They played them off the park for 2 games. They played them off the park, and Liverpool are the best team in the country.
They took them apart, right? And we're not that. But this is not the Champions League quarterfinals or whatever that was. This is, or the knockout rounds. This is a more relaxed game. But I think it's just going to be good to see where we are, Ben. It's going to be good to see where we are. Thomas Frank is still learning his team. Thomas Frank is still going to be looking and working out which players he can trust. And Rome, I don't normally like this, Sam, but it wasn't built in a day.
No.
Rome can't be built in one pre-season window, lads.
How many times have we had the perfect season to say is Juan de Ramos' season, his last season at Spurs. Pre-season we played, we won every single game. 2 points from 8 games. Pre-season isn't everything. It's about fitness, and it's about organisation of where you want to be for the season. It doesn't, apart from that Arsenal, I consider that Arsenal game was a bit more than a you can see that it was a bit more competitive than a normal pre-season game. Both teams were certainly at it, but it is pre-season. It means absolutely nout. It's now even the Super Cup. Yes, we'd love to win it. If we win the Super Cup, it'd be fantastic for the club. It'd be fantastic for the fan base. It'd be fantastic for the team. But it's just that yardstick too far. PSG are the best team in the world. And anything we can do and any way we can learn and we can get closer to those European big boys, the better. And this is it's a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, lots of people saying, Chelsea beat them. Guys and girls, yes, Chelsea beat them, but this is a Chelsea team full of stars that have been with their manager for a year, well drilled, just finished 4th in the Premier League. Midfield of Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer pulling the strings, João Pedro. Very, very different to Brennan Johnson, Tell, Richie, it's very different. I listen, if we win, over the moon. Over the moon. I think it goes without saying, guys. If ever I don't think Spurs are going to win a game, I think people confuse that with me saying I want to lose the game. Do you know what I mean? Like when that famous video was made about me where I got losing to Man City wrong, it was almost like they were going, oh, Savva wanted to lose to City. Why would I want to lose to City? I just thought that they were better than us. So listen, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we're all wrong and Spurs can beat PSG, but I just don't. I don't
you know me, Savva. Don't. If Spurs somehow beat PSG tonight, I'll be going around every single day calling Spurs undisputed European champions. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be absolutely shameless about it.
Love it. Love it.
I would love it if Spurs were undisputed European champ because it'd be hilarious. Imagine that as a yardstick to beat Arsenal for the entire year. That'd be fantastic. It'd be hilarious. But it is a game. It's very, very difficult to beat a PSG. They are a wounded animal, and we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, Mark, the interesting thing, we heard that Solanke could be back for tonight, but obviously Solanke's not kicked a ball since the barbecue, since the FHTV barbecue when we were watching. Yeah. That's the only 45 minutes he's had, and that was, what, a month ago? So difficult to know whether he'll play. Other than that, there isn't really a lot to say, is there, about team selection? And there isn't. Do you know what I mean?
Thomas Frank said he's available, Savva. He's available tonight, Solanke. He said that.
Yeah, no, that's what I said.
He'll only play 45 minutes, won't he? I would imagine.
That's what I said. He said he's available, but he's not played for 45 minutes, and Solanke's not the greatest at the best of times, let alone half fit. But look, we need to get minutes in his legs tonight. Look, I mean, let me get a score prediction from you guys before we talk about something else. Well, let me get a score prediction tonight. I know it's a tough one because it is PSG, but what do you reckon?
I think it will be 3-1 to PSG. I think we'll score. I don't know how. Maybe a set piece or something. It's pretty much like, we lost to Bayern 4-0. Yeah, Sav. And I know what Ben's saying about friendlies, but we're getting to the point now. We're one game away from the season starting. So, again, going back, I think we'll lose, Sav. I just do. But I just want to see some bits on the pitch that I think to myself, oh, yeah, we'll be taking that into next season, and maybe against, some of the lesser sides and even some of the better sides, that will work. Do you know what I mean? I just want to see this 6, 8, 10 weeks worth of having them on the training pitch, how much that has changed what they can do compared to last year. How much they've already been lifted and upskilled in different ways, because that will just progress throughout the season as it goes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, let me sorry, Ben. So what was the prediction? What was the score?
My heart says 2-1 Spurs, my head says 2-1 PSG.
And what was yours, Mark?
3-1, I think. I think 3-1.
Yeah, I went with 2-0.
Never listen to your heart, everyone. Never listen to your heart. It always wants McDonald's and fried chicken.
Listen, I've gone with 2-0. I think if we can score, I'll be over the moon. I genuinely do worry about the creativity here. We haven't got a number 10. I mean, like, not to have any number 10 going into the season is I mean, it's beyond negligent, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Big up to some super chats. And by the way, somebody's just made a great point. There's 958 people in here and 220 likes. I mean, guys, that should be 450. Come on. I mean, really, it should be more, but it's free. Smash that button. Big up to Atavatron Wembley 1. Thank you very much, as always. Good morning, Savva. Appropriate that the game today coincides with the start of the new Alien Earth TV series. So a choice of horror viewing tonight. I don't have a clue what the Alien Earth TV series is, but I can guess. Look, let's just hope it doesn't come to that. I think that's what we all want to avoid. I think if we came away and we'd lost 2-0, I don't think anyone's going to lose their mind. I don't think we want to see back-to-back 4-0s or 5-0s, right? So I think that's what I would say. But hopefully it's not a choice horror viewing tonight. Big up to you, George, as always, with a super sticker. Thank you very much for starting the super sticker train, George. Really appreciate you, my man. Very, very generous, as always. Big up to Emma, who has put in a super sticker as well and just said, morning, Savva. Morning to you up there on Teesside, Emma. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Now we go from Teesside to Australia. The Aussie Frank lover. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Sounds like a really shit documentary, doesn't it? From Teesside to Brisbane, you know, like a massive bike ride or something. Big up to you. Thank you, Aussie Frank lover. And Tony Rodriguez has asked the panel a question. Big up, Tony. So would you take Eriksen for squad depth?
Never go back. Never go back. I absolutely love this player. When he was in his pomp at Spurs, he was an absolute joy to watch. But with his heart problems now and it's just not right. I think it's not going to do squad depth. We saw how he was for Man United last year. I know he wasn't as fit as he could be, but that's just going to be the way it is now. If it was a defender with his issues, I'd be like, okay, Daley Blind did it at Ajax for many years and a few other players. For an attacking midfielder, that we can't be risking that. We can't be risking that. You just never know what's going to happen. But you never go back to old players anyway, unless it's a Jurgen Klinsmann, unless it's a Teddy Sheringham, or even, if possible, a Harry Kane next year if he wants to come home. That Eriksen's never coming back to Spurs, and we should draw a line under this this story.
Mark, what are you in the same opinion or something different? You're on mute. You've muted. I think you've muted yourself.
I was having a coughing fit. Sorry, mate.
Right.
Yeah, he was great back in the day, Eriksen, as we all know. But listen, if we're going to want to make step forwards, we need to be signing proper footballers, right? And I'm not saying Eriksen was not a proper footballer, but like Ben says, he's had his issues with his heart. Hopefully everything's all sorted for him and he's 100% right as rain for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? But we need to move on from that. We've got to move on. You know, we need to be buying players of a calibre that lives. We're in the bloody Champions League, Savva, and we're sitting here moaning, not moaning, but, you know, we've got chairman contemplating over 5, 6, 7 million quid for a top player that's already said, I want to come and play for you. Go and get it done. Get it done. Get Savinho in, then move on to the next target, whatever the next target is. Like you said, it would have been great if there'd have been some forward-thinking planning, like a lot of clubs do, and they would have all been in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the transfer window. But Spurs don't work like that, man. We're always looking for deals, you know. We just need better, Savva. We need better players in. We need first-team players to come in to the team to improve the team, which then improves the squad overall.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. Listen, I wouldn't have Eriksen back, but isn't it such a sad state of affairs that if Christian Eriksen was at Spurs, he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet tonight because we've got no playmaker. By the way, big up for the super chats, everyone. And by the way, Digo, I'm going to put this comment under the bracket of tell me you don't understand how YouTube algorithm works without telling me you don't understand how YouTube algorithm works. When people like you say things like this, I can tell you're not a YouTuber. The reason why YouTubers ask for likes is when you get likes during a show, it puts more emphasis on the algorithm to YouTube to say, hey, people are watching this show, they're liking it, go and watch. That's how we get more viewers. That's how we get subscribers. So getting the likes at the end is kind of redundant. So Digo, no, when you realize that these content creators actually know what they're talking about as opposed to someone like you. But thank you for your comment. I do appreciate it. Thank you for being
like and subscribe.
And make sure you like and subscribe. Yeah, so thank you. I love it when people tell us how to do our jobs as content creators. Like I ask for likes for the sake of it. Do you think I really like really, do you think at the end of the show the likes mean anything? Silly boy.
I mean,
silly
people
boy.
tell me how to make cups of coffee all the time, Savva, so I would ignore it.
Mate, it's mad. I keep seeing videos about how people are buying subscribers and that's why their views are going up. And I'm like, no, again, you're making videos about things you don't understand. No, you don't. Your views will only go. Your views don't go up because you get more subscribers bought. That's not how it works. Anyway, hey, it is what it is. Lots of people talking about things they don't know about. Guys and girls, we are 50 minutes in. Big up to all the people who put in a like and a super chat. Let me ask you guys, we've got to talk about this, right? Mark touched upon it there. We are in conversation with two very good footballers. We're not monitoring. We're not being linked. We're not tapping up. We're not interested. We're not scouting. We are talking to their football clubs. How important is it that both of these footballers come through the door? When you look at this current squad and you look at the absolute lack of creativity and the goals and assists that have been lost, how important is it that Savino, or Savio to give him his real name, and Eze come through this door together?
You want to go first, Mark?
Yeah, for me, it's so important, Savva. Look, by hook or by crook, we've won the Europa League last year. We're now playing with the big boys, right? We've sacked a manager that's won a cup for whatever reason. A new manager has come in with new philosophies, new ideas, new tactics, new structure, new everything, right? So, number one, fans have got to give this manager a bit of time. Look at the cards he's been dealt with so far. Paulinho and Kudos. We know that's not enough, but we also know that we probably need 7, 8, 9, 10 players. And if you could get them all in a window, you would. Some clubs do go down that road to do that. As we've seen Chelsea buying loads of players over the years. Liverpool are buying quality. Man City are buying quality. They're all buying quality. And, as far as we were behind those clubs last year, we are going to get left behind even further, Savva. So,
sure.
For me, it's very, very important. It's not about just keeping up with the Joneses now. It's about scouts and whatever method they use, whether it be these, whether it be data, whatever method they're using now, get it right and get players in to the first team. It's just as simple as that. And they need to. It's so important, Savva. We move slow and we've got to start getting our finger out of our backside and getting on with it. Do you know what I mean? That's how I am with it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, it's, you understand why people are very sceptical, right? We've been here before. Grealish, Sadio Mane, Willian, Skriniar, Bruno Fernandes. I don't know if I said
Morgan Gibbs-White.
Morgan Gibbs-White in this very window. So you understand why, if we were Chelsea fans or City fans, you're sitting here right now going, oh, we're in talks with these two players. You know it's going to get done.
Yeah.
With Spurs, you understand the skepticism, right?
Always. We are the ultimate pessimists as a football club. We never know until it's done, until we can actually see it. Getting both these footballers in will be the difference between us finishing 8th and us finishing 5th. They will be 3 places worth. If we have a front 4 of, let's say, Kudus, Savino, Eze, and Solanke next season, that gets us top 5. That's how big I think that makes us. Because I see us defensively this year with the back line we've got with Vicario, Spence, Van der Ven, Romero, and Porro and Paulinho in front of them, and possibly Sarr or Bensko. I see that as a good base to work on. We fix our forward line. I think we could very easily, not very easily, but we will certainly be competing for Champions League football next season. And to go from 17th to 5th with just one transfer window would be an amazing achievement.
Yeah,
and all we need to do is bring in 2 players. We've done a lot of the work this year with fixing up the defence, but having an Eze and a Savino in the team, It's what you want to watch as a football fan going week in. You want to be excited. Football is an entertainment business at the end of the day. It is entertainment, and you want to be entertained watching football. Having those two will make football very, very enjoyable for every single Spurs fan going to football games, and including away fans going to watch Tottenham, because they obviously watch Tottenham as well. It'll be very, very good, and I think we can make ourselves closer to the top 5 spots with that front 4 if we get them in. Not I'm waiting for a here we go, and I'm waiting for them to hold a shirt up. We got to get it done. Pay the money. In this situation, you've got to act like it. If Arsenal want him, and I think Eze would prefer to go to Arsenal as an Arsenal fan born and bred, as they like to say, make them pay for him. If he doesn't come to Spurs, make them pay for him. They want 68 million quid and Arsenal add 68 million. Add a bit more. I know that's not how Spurs act, but if we can make another club pay more, that's the way we got to do. Get this player in by hook or by crook, because that's what we need. We need Eze more than Arsenal need Eze, because they've got Ødegaard, who's, although Arsenal fans really dislike Ødegaard at the moment for some reason, they've got Wanyeri coming through the wings at the moment, and they see him as the next big thing. They've got players in that number 10 spot. We don't have a number 10 until November, December, because I don't think Kulusevski will be fully fit until December, January if he comes back. So we need this player. We absolutely need this player to come in now.
Yeah. I think the difficulty is normally we're linked a lot to people, right? So the letdown isn't as bad. The kind of agony of it is, why didn't we go for him? This is slightly different, right, lads, because we are in for them. And it's that hope that kills you, isn't it? It's really that hope that kills you but we're in talks. Now, there's lots of caveats to both deals. Lots of people saying, well, Savio will only join Spurs if Rodrigo is signed by Man City, and Man City can only buy Rodrigo if Savio is sold to Spurs. So you've got that dynamic. And then you've got the whole, well, Arsenal want him. Arsenal want him, and they've talked to him in the window, but Arsenal need to sell players apparently first. However, if he came to Tottenham, if he comes to Tottenham, he's the main man. He's the poster boy.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If Eze comes to Tottenham, he's the main man. He's your playmaker. He's your maverick. He starts every game. He'll be your highest paid player, I'm guessing, on the 200 grand a week that Son's just left behind. At Arsenal, will he be that? So you've got all these different dynamics. I think what we're all praying for, just for once, is that we turn around like later tonight, tomorrow morning, here we go. Spurs have whacked down the money. Spurs have paid what Crystal Palace wanted, stopped all that negotiating, stopped all that allowing other clubs to come in. Bish, bash, bosh. Eze's a Spurs player. That's it for me. That's what I want to see. And that's the heartache if we don't get now both these deals, to be honest. I want both. I don't want one. I want both.
We absolutely need both those players in Savva. It's a massive difference to the way we finish this season. It gives us so much depth as well. It gives us so much flexibility with the way we want to play. One week, Eze can play in the 10. Next week, we can switch to a bit more defensive and have an extra midfielder in there and play Eze on the left. Or we might want to play with an extra 8 in midfield. It gives us so much more flexibility in the way we want to set up for every single game, because it is a squad game now. Football is a squad game, and just get it done. And as football is now, you speak to the player. Does the player want to come? And then we speak to the club. So if the clubs are talking, the player must be up for the move. Because you won't talk to the club, put a bid down just to be rejected. Because you do always speak to the agent, but that is the way football works now. So hopefully Spurs can just do it, just for once, get these 2 big deals over the line. It'd be lovely. And another homegrown player as well, because he's English. He's English. So homegrown player, great for the Champions League squad. Another English player in the team. It's what we want to see. It's what we want to see.
And the worry is, Mark, I think a lot of fans are already started to realise that if we don't get him, it will be something like this, won't it? It will be something like an El Canoes. Yeah. And yes, there'll be certain fans that, you know, the super fans. I'm a better fan than you because they'll praise this and go, this is great and he's quality for the future. But for me, I think this will be the final straw for a lot of fans if they don't get these 2 deals done. failed with Gibbs White, failed with Zabanyi. By the way, failing with Zabanyi, if it's because PSG, fine. But right now, failing with Eze, failing with Savio, it doesn't bear thinking about right now, does it?
No, both deals have got to get done now, Sav. That, Eze's been being mentioned for a long time. It looks like that's back on the table now. And like you've both just said, surely Spurs have gone and asked the question, does your player want to come to Spurs if a deal can be struck? The same as with Savinho. I think Savinho's already come out and said, yeah, I'm open to a move to Spurs. So, let's hope Eze wants to come to play for Tottenham, not because he couldn't get his deal with Arsenal. I know there's a lot of conjecture about, he's an Arsenal fan, he don't want to come to Spurs. Listen, they're footballers at the end of the day, and I want the best footballers at Tottenham. I couldn't give a toss if he supports Arsenal, as long as he does his business on the pitch for Tottenham.
Yeah.
So, let's get him in. At the end of the day, I don't know what we're talking about. The best part of 140 million quid in whatever structure it gets paid for two players, plus their wages. We can afford it. We all know we can afford it, right? Let's get it done, and let's have some intent about the players that we're going to get. I mean, just to move it a bit further along, I think if you said Paulinho, Kudus, Eze, and Savinho, you'd go, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we're moving a bit different there.
Someone offers you that in May and says that's how the window's going to end.
All
you're
day.
Going, yeah. But now looking at the other side, now the window ends and you've brought in Takai, Tel, Danso, El Kanous, and Kudus. You're back to 4 squad rotation players and 1 first-team player. I know Paulinho, but on the loan. It's huge. I think the spotlight is on Daniel Levy massively now, and I don't want to have a big Levy talk. I really don't. I'm so bored of it. If I'm brutally honest, guys. But let's forget Levy as the club. The spotlight is on them massively. The overlap interview, the Vinay PR interview. Cool. Make us believe you. These 2 signings make us believe them, right? These 2 signings, I think for me, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, I didn't go into the January window and the summer window, next window going, I've got a lot more faith. I've got a lot more faith now. I don't need to panic all through the window because I know my club can pull off deals like this. At the moment, lovely that we're in talks. Lovely that Spurs are in club-to-club negotiations, but that's what it is right now. But are we going to be happy this week, or are we going to be full of anguish like normal? That's the question.
It's what makes you love being a Spurs fan, isn't it? It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to dream. Sometimes you've got to dream, and hopefully we can dream for this season. Because last year was a very dark season. Every single week I know you don't go to the games. I know Cookie goes to some of the games. Going to every single game a lot of the time knowing you're going to get beat. Let's have a bit of hope for this season. Let's have a good season. Let's just have a good season. Go to a few Spurs games and say, you know what? We're going to win today. We're going to see a few goals. We're going to be entertained. It's what we want to see. It's what we got to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just really, more than anything, not selfishly, but hope for the fans we get this done. I really hope for the fans, for those people that go, more than myself, for those people that go, but for all of us that give all our blood, sweat and tears to talking about this football club all day long. I really hope we get to the end of this window and it means everyone can stop talking about this bloody transfer window. That's what I hope. Yeah. That's my hope anyway. Whether or not we pull it off remains to be seen.
Yeah, I just want the manager to be backed a little bit, Savva, at the end of the day. I can't see the point of getting a manager in to go and do this same cycle over and over again. You brought him in because he's a coach. Give him the players to coach. Give him the players to go and be a winner. Do you know what I mean? Improve the consistency of the team week in, week out. Let's not go into Burnley at home thinking, oh, are we going to beat them? Are we going to beat Burnley at home on Saturday? Yeah, sure, we should be beating Burnley at home, you know, and many other teams. The people upstairs have got to deliver for the manager now. I think we're at that stage, you know. We're looking at it thinking back four, midfield two. Yeah, we can deal with that so far. It's everything else in the team apart from kudos, yeah, that we need to deal with now. Now, that might not happen in one window, like we've said, so, but at least show the intent that you're trying to get a couple of those positions filled, you know, for the first team, not a squad rotation player. First team. That's what it's all about now, to, number one, improve that the first team, but the squad depth in general as well. You know, it's so important. They can't leave us. I said to Mark last night, they can't leave us like this without any forwards. They just can't.
Yeah, they can't. But you know what will happen, Mark? If they don't get these two in, it will end up being two underwhelming ones. That's the problem. And then we're back to fans pretending that young players are the way forward, saying how great it is. We're a youth project. Then when it goes wrong, everyone turns to, oh, well, the manager was only given young players after said young players were praised to the hilt. This is massive. Also, for the young players we currently have, this is massive. And I know they might not see it that way right now. But if you've got three, let's say Solanke's the striker, and you've got a three behind them of Kudus, Eze, Savinho, right? What that does for Odegaard, for his development, for Matisse Tell's development, massive. It's absolutely massive. They're training day in, day out with top-class footballers, with top-class movement, top-class pace, top-class skill. All three of them have got the ability to just drift past players. Right now, only Kudus can, and he's doubled up on. Like, he must already be getting frustrated. He's doubled up on because everyone realises there's nothing anywhere else. So I think it's only good, Ben, for the younger players to have that to look up to, right?
And also, if you've got more players that take players away from you, it gives you more space on the football pitch. Let's say there is a Kudus or a Savinho. If they've got doubled up both of them, it gives you a bit of movement to run into. You can say, okay, those two are going to get these boys, taking these boys out of the game. Let me do my thing. And you get better by sharpening steel with steel. And that's what you have in training. When you've got better players in training, those utensils will be a lot sharper come the start of every single game. Because when you play against better people, when you work with better people, you get better. You get better. You see what you need to do. You see what you need to eat. You see what time you need to turn up. You see what top players do to make themselves better, and you mimic it. You mimic it because that's what you do when you're young and coming into a new industry, and it's what you want Odegaard and Tell to do. If Eze would be brilliant for the entire football club, not just for the football team, but for everyone surrounding it. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer of a signing. Pay the money. Even if you have to pay over the odds. And I
think it's the same for Paulinho coming in. I know he's only on a loan, Savva, but if there's someone that's going to learn this season, because we paid 40 million for him, right? Archie Gray needs to be watching Paulinho 24 hours a day. He's very good at his job, Paulinho. If anyone can help Archie Gray out, because Archie Gray apparently wants to be that number 6. Yeah? Watch Paulinho. And hopefully, like Ben says, with players like Eze coming in the front turn to help Odegaard and Tell and, you know, Savinho coming in, even though he's still only 21 himself. Again, Paulinho for Archie Gray could be instrumental in the long term.
We already saw in that Bayern game, one of the really, because there were, even though we got beat 4-0, there were some good points in that game. I know we're looking at the scoreline, but I saw a lot more from Archie Gray in that one game of football. I saw him marauding up the pitch. I saw him holding onto the ball better. I saw him. Imagine that, but with more professionals around him and seeing what they do. That's you when you're young coming into a proper job. you become a sponge. And I think Archie Gray he can learn a bit of everything. He can learn from the 10s. He can learn from Kudos to see how he holds on to the ball and how he wins fouls. Because if he's going to be more of a number 8 this season under a Thomas Frank, he's going to have to learn to win some fouls. He's going to have to learn to get hold of the ball, bring it up the pitch and earn a foul or two. He can learn that from Kudos. If he wants to learn how to get really strong into those tackles, Paolini is the perfect person. In his last season at Fulham, 100 more tackles than the nearest other midfielder. It's be a sponge and suck in all the information you can get from every single one of those players around you. You can learn from all of them and it'll be brilliant for him.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, listen, I think it's interesting, right? This is an interesting one. Big up to Bournemouth Buzzer. Said if Arsenal wanted him that badly, they would have done that before Madueke. What I would say is I'd love to think that that is correct, but sometimes that's not how transfers work. Sometimes it's all about availability, about the selling club, about the deal conditions. It's not always this straightforward. Eze might have said, listen, I want to move, but I want to do the charity shield. You don't know, right? All of these different things you don't know. Who knows, mate? Listen, you might be right, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as, well, they would have got that done first. Because we could say the same. Well, if we really wanted Eze, we would have tried that instead of Gibbs White. But there must be a reason that no one's gone for Eze until this late in the window. And for me, it's not a coincidence that the moment the charity shield has done, that now both Tottenham and Arsenal are in for him. But look, a lot to be said. Listen, apparently, again, the word apparently is huge. In YouTube and in the world of football, the word apparently is huge. Apparently, they want something like 68 million. I don't know if that's the number. To be honest, I don't care what the number is. But whatever the number is, the question's going to be, will Spurs hit it? Because what we're hearing is that if they do hit it, Eze's keen to come. Pause. If Eze does want to join Tottenham Hotspur, then all we've got to do is hit it. Now, that sounds easier said than done because it probably is. And I'm sure right now, Levy, whoever's negotiating, Levy, Vinay, whoever, I'm not going to just blame this all on one man. They're probably offering, we'll give you 55 plus 10 or 55 plus 5 plus 10 if Spurs get Champions League. 55 plus, we don't know, right? And that's what I think is the frustration, lads, with fans, is that because we don't know 100% of the ins and outs, we all get a little bit impatient and start going, don't we? And we just got to let the club deal with this and then just pray that they get it done.
Dealing with Steve Parish is always, every single deal is going to be down to the details, isn't it? Both him and Levy are very, very similar they will fight for every single penny and pound they can get for the benefit of their football club. It's a complicated deal, but they've got to get this complicated deal over the line for a change. They've got to get this over the line.
Yeah,
they've got no choice, or there's going to be anarchy.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There will be anarchy. Listen, just quickly before I go on to Mark, big up to every single one of you. There's 1,000 exactly. There's 1,000 of you exactly in here. 387 likes. Come on, let's get that to 500, please. And we're only 4 subscribers away from 21,250. So we would have done 250 subscribers in 2 days if we can get 4 more. So please smash that button. Appreciate it. And listen, I like to think somebody messaged me 2 days ago. I'm not going to mention who. There was a Spurs YouTuber who messaged me and said, lucky for you, you've got loads of subs. And I was like, sorry, there's nothing lucky about this. Like, I graft my arse off for my content and I graft the number of hours I put in a day. There's no luck. This is not luck. Like that famous saying goes, right? People are always jealous of other people, but not jealous of how they got there. Right. And that's the thing that people don't see. Please smash that subscribe button. Yeah, Terry, again, this might add a little bit of a twist to things. We know that Man City want Rodrigo. They're now adding Magnez Akalush, I believe, Akalush, to their shortlist. This could have a bearing on Savinho. We don't know. But Mark, if I was to ask you, Savinho Eze, what would you say is the more likely? We want both. What would you say is the more likely of the two deals to get done?
I can only go on what I've read, Savva. Bennett and now on the head about with Steve Parish. He'll want what he's got in his head set out. Obviously, he'll have a little buffer there, but he'll know. And you know what Levy's like with negotiations. So that one could drag on and on and on. With the Savinio one, I've read different bits and pieces. The main thing is that the player wants to come. We've bid around 55 and some add-ons. They want nearer 70. That's what I've read. So we're looking at a sort of 10 million gap at the moment. And then obviously they have to work out how it gets paid over how many years and all that sort of thing. I'm not interested in that. Pay the money for the player. Like Ben said earlier on, you know, you can't want him for 65 million quid and not want him for 70 million quid. Not for me anyway. Not if you want him that bad. You know what I mean? And all this, you know, piss balling about. I don't know if that's the right word, Savva.
Yeah.
You know, but just get it done. It's not, you know, you can't carry on talking about things with the forward line and the attacking midfield players that we haven't got at the moment. Yeah. And not be a serious club that's in the Champions League, not going and getting deals like this done. We're not paying 125 million for Isak. We're talking about 60 to 70 million. And surely that's not even beyond Levy. As risk averse as he is, you know, surely they can do something to get these players in. Because not only, I get what Ben's saying about, these two coming in with what else we've added, be brilliant. Should elevate us up to that sort of top 5 echelon. We still need more, Savva. Don't think that will be the end. It might be the end for this window, but like you say, we've got to move on from that as well and add.
Mark, for sure. Listen, look, if we're being honest, I think we need more left backs. I think we need another centre half. I think we need another ball playing midfielder. But I think for this window, if we were to turn around and go, you got those 4 that revolutionise your midfield, your wingers and your attacking midfield, you would take it. Now, just quick, I just wanted to show this. For anyone that didn't see this yesterday, Daps sent this to me. So if anyone doesn't know Daps from Never a Foul, Man City fan, he put this together. I didn't know he was doing this. This is me and LB. And he basically sent it to me, guys, with the caption of, this is what it would be like with Levy and Kadoun. What's his name? Kadoun. Is it the chairman of Man City? This is what it would be like with Levy and Kadoun, right? Negotiating. And listen to this. This is what the Man City fans think, right? You ready? Look at this.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, good evening.
What?
Wherever you are from, whoever you are.
What do you mean?
Would you call it a good news day, or is the Levy PR machine at work?
My club is losing the plot, man. I can't lie. My club has lost the plot. If they do this, they're fucking stupid, in my opinion. Absolutely stupid.
So that is what LB of Man City said, right? I just love it. Imagine the negotiations. How much do you want? 60 million. We'll start at 25. What? Who? Why? But the Man City fans don't seem to want him to go. In the bulk of it, they don't seem to want him to go. But the differences between Man City and us is the Man City fans surely know that if Savio leaves through the door, they're getting in a Rodrigo or a Kaluch. So I can see that one happening. I can see that one happening. But I think the name that's been on everyone's lips for years, to be honest, guys, is Eze, right? Now, last night, Benji told me on my show, big up Benji if you're watching. Last night, Benji on my show said he doesn't think he revolutionises Spurs. He doesn't think it revolutionises us. What do you guys make of it? Does it revolutionise Spurs?
What? What? Eze will be our best signing since Rafael van der Vaart.
I agree. I'm just asking. I'm just asking the question. Everyone in the chat.
That's a mare there, Benji. I'm sorry, Benji. That's a mare. That's a mare.
Does Eberici Eze revolutionise the way Tottenham play?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course.
Every way, shape, or form, this is an unbelievable signing. That is an unbelievable signing. And to get him over one of the biggest clubs in the country at the moment, Arsenal finishing second every year, to get him over them would be a massive signing. That would be unbelievable for the football club. It'll be as the Nacho Slayer said, Eze would be our best player. He would be the poster boy of the club. Put every single kit release on Eze. He would be the guy. He would be the guy that every single 5-6-year-old is going to want on their shirt. He will be everything.
That guy is where you order coffee from. Ben, put the link in where people can order their coffee, my man. Come on.
On it.
There you go. You can order coffee from this man. And trust me, I hate coffee. But Ben really nice. When they came to my house the other week, and to be fair, Mark bought gifts. Everyone bought gifts as though it was like you know when like the three wise men bought their gold, frankincense, and myrrh. It was like everyone turned up with gifts that was more for my wife. But the hot chocolate I've had one every day for the last 4 days, and it is absolutely stunning. It is.
Someone asked what that hot chocolate was, by the way. So
it was beautiful.
Have to plug them because we are looking at starting a partnership. The Cocoa Collective.
Yeah,
one of
lovely.
The best hot chocolate companies in the UK. Small business. They got 8 or 9 people working for them. Something crazy like that. Amazing chocolate. Got it in pods. You've got it in little bite-sized pieces, which you put into your hot chocolate. And now they've added the powder recently. It's made up of multiple different origins, and you can get multiple different chocolate contents. This one is 32% for those milk chocolate drinkers, but you can obviously get the dark chocolate if you want that. Buy the hot chocolate. It's amazing. And Savva loves it as well. It's great.
Yeah. And by the way, Aidan, I'll be honest. People asking why City would sell. I'll be honest, as a Spurs fan, I don't care. My issue is not what we pay for Savio or what City do with the replacement. Let's be fair. Spurs and City, are not in a title race together. Man City will be in a title race. They will be in a title race, and it won't be with Tottenham. So I don't care what City do. By the way, breaking news, Atalanta have just made a £34.5 million bid for Fulham's Rodrigo Muniz. So Atalanta have bid for Fulham's Rodrigo Muniz. I'm also hearing, can't say from where, that Solomon, watch out for that one, that Solomon could be very, very soon heading to a Leeds, a Sunderland, or a Burnley. So watch that one.
Leeds is a great move for Solomon. Leeds is a great move for him.
So he can link up with Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
And family-wise, it's a good place for people like him. He's already been there. It's a great move for him, and I think he'll do well back at Leeds. And he did very well from there last season. It'd be a really, really good move for him.
By the way, can I just say, sorry, before we come to you, Mark, sorry. When people say why is City seemingly okay with selling him, people have got to remember as well, Man City paid like 25 million quid, right? If they get offered 60 million,
take the money.
You've got to remember as well, I know our fans are really sentimental about losing footballers. These big clubs are ruthless. Savio's a good player. We can get other good players. Yeah, we can get other players. Maybe Savio wants to leave. Maybe Savio wants to be guaranteed playing time. And at Man City,
in a World Cup year, Savva, in a World Cup year,
exactly. So I don't care. I don't care about any of that. Get him in a Spurs shirt. Let Man City worry about why they sold him and who they're going to buy. But Man City, we've seen, are in talks at the moment with Donnarumma, Rodrigo, and now they're adding people like Akalouche to their list. This is a different level to what we do. This is, we're shopping in, no offense, we're shopping in Aldi and Lidl. they're currently wandering around Harrods and Waitrose. Do you know what I mean? With their basket. Like, let's remember.
Massive difference between Waitrose and Harrods, though, Savva.
No, but you know what I mean. What
Massive difference. They're certainly in Harrods, though. Nothing wrong with Lidl. Lidl have some great fans, which my fan was stolen. So to the person that stole my Lidl fan, you can sod yourself. Big up the Silvercrest fans. Yeah, it's a World Cup year. People want starting positions to play for their national team. And Savinho's going to have a big task to play. Because remember, Vinicius Jr. is going to have that spot locked down mostly. But if he can push his way into that Brazil team to get a few minutes here and there, I think it'd be... And I tell this story all the time. We used to be good friends with a man called Antonio Giraldo, who used to be the president of Juventus. And he was the guy that sold Zinedine Zidane for 56 million. Even in those days, 56 million would be like 200 million now. The inflation now. And you've got to take the money. If you get an astronomical offer from a player you paid 25 million quid for, you've got to take the money. You've got to take the money. PSR's a thing now. Take the money, reinvest it in a Rodrigo, who would be an amazing coup for Man City if they have a genuine world-class player. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, do Man City have a genuinely, like, you say, yeah, they're world-class? Erling Haaland is the one you would say as a world-class striker. Rodri, you don't know.
Rodri, for me, is the best player in the world.
I would say so as well in his position, but Rodrigo is that world-class attacker you want to. It puts bums on seats, doesn't it? And we don't know if Rodri is going to be playing a lot of the games this year because of his injury. He had a really bad injury last year. Let's see, but it's just another world-class player for them to add to their books, and they're going to need one.
Yeah, of course. Listen, I think as well, Liverpool strengthening means City have to strengthen. That's life. Arsenal will strengthen, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. These guys will all be looking at what each other are doing and saying, how do we keep up? You can't stay still in football. You can't stay still. Pep's admitted last summer he made the mistake of standing still. And he said he's made the mistake and he admitted that was 1 year too much for those players that had won 4 in a row. Said that won't happen next season. So City are going. City are buying. Liverpool won the league. Didn't sit there and go, let's keep the same squad. We want Isak. We want Guehi. Obviously, the 5 they've brought in. Frimpong, Kirkes, Wirtz, Ekatike. This is what clubs do. I have always said, I think we're far too emotional with footballers. I think we're far too emotional for footballers. When you're saying, because I think Akalushe and Savio are very different profiles of footballers. I think it's easy. Big up for the super chat. Thank you very much, Alf. But I think the problem is when we say things like that, if Thomas Frank has identified Savio as the guy that he wants, then that's the profile of footballer that he wants.
A new tweet from Fabrizio Romano just came out 1 minute ago about this very topic. So thank you, Fabrizio. Manchester City are playing down reports about Magnus Akalush or similar options, and no talks are taking place. Plan remains clear. If Savinho joins Spurs, Manchester City want to try for Rodrigo, but no agreement for Savinho to Spurs. First bid far from City's valuation.
Well, let's bring that up. There we go. You can all see it. That's what's been said, as Ben stated. But just quickly, Alf, before we look at that, I think we've got to remember that as fans, we can talk all day long about the player we want and why don't they do this. I like it. If a manager has said, that's me, that player is me, that's my profile, I want the club to get him that profile. Now, I'm not saying, listen, I love Akalush. I think this guy's great. But if it's Savio that he wants, go and get Savio. Big up for the super chat. There you can see what he said. As Ben said, the bit that matters to Spurs is going to be the last line, right? Still no agreement for Savinho to Spurs as of now. First bid far from City valuation. You just got to hope that the next couple of bids get to the valuation where at least it makes City think. But we will see. We will see. Mark, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thanks, mate.
Welcome back from getting your drink. Look, we're very far off from how the big boys act. But I want to ask you this: if we get Eze and we get Savinho, we got Kudus, we got Paulinho. How far away from those big four clubs are we if that happens? Because I think many acknowledge that will still be, for me, that would still be the top four. But how far away from them would we be, or do you think we can gate crash?
No, I still think we'll be too short to gate crash. So that's just my personal opinion. You have to take into account as good as the players are that are coming in. So, like for the levels that you're talking about, Polini or Kudos, they're both very good players. Eze and Savinho. It'd transform our team. You have to take into account, though, Savva, these fellas are not going to be fit throughout the whole season as well. And this is when I talk about it's great to have these players in, yeah, and it'd be a good window to have these 4, 5, 6 players come in one window, yeah, of those levels of player. But I think we still need more on top of that. As to the fact that if they stayed fit, all these 5 players, 6 players that we brought in, if they stayed fit for the season, and you could guarantee that, I would say not necessarily top 4, but we would be top, 5th, 6th around that area.
Yeah. But
it's so important to, if they're going to do the good work with the Paulinho and the Kudos, and then they're going to go again and get the Ezes and the Savinhos, then I just want us to be prepared in January to go again and get a striker in January if we're not going to do it in this window. Because as much as we're talking about these 3 that sit in behind whoever's playing up front, yeah, we still need another and a better centre forward than what we've got. Because the 2 that we've got up there, they're not good enough, Savva, for what we require. You can go back to that. They have never showed that they're good enough at a consistent level to be what we need up top for us.
No, mate, listen, I completely agree. And that's why, I mean, like, my mate Matt in the chat, I haven't seen him today, thank God. But like he said yesterday, if these 2 come in, you have to get top 4. And I'm like, whoa. Sorry, are we just suddenly forgetting the depth that these other clubs have got? Like, it's all well and good building the first 11, but that still means our depth is woefully short of the first team. And this is where, honestly, I really do question sometimes whether people actually really have a look deep down and understand what they're talking about. Do you know what I mean? Do they really have a look and go, right, look at Chelsea. If Chelsea get in Simmons, they've got Simmons and Palmer, right, that can both play that role. Off the left, they're going to have Bino Gittins and Garnacho, and Simmons can play there as well. Off the right, Esteval, Pedro Neto, Palmer can play off there as well. You've got central midfielders, by the way, of Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. You've got forwards from Pedro, Nicholas Jackson's still there, Delap. You look at those options and you go, wow. You look at our options, even if these 2 join, I go, yeah, it's not quite there yet. It's a good start. It's positive. It's in the right direction. When people start talking about that should definitely be 4th, I genuinely worry. I genuinely worry, guys, sometimes at what people are looking at.
Look, Sav, surely as fans, right, and we say it all the time, everyone has a different opinion on different players. No one can tell me, right, that Savio or Savinho, whatever you want to call him, Eberechi Eze, Paulinho, doing the job that he does, yeah, for the team, yeah, and Kudos, because if you get a Savinho in and you get an Eze in, Kudos ain't being double marked. Like you said earlier, everyone's seeing he's our only threat. So bang, as soon as that ball's being pinged out to him, bang, 2 on him, because they know there's no other threat as such. Do you know what I mean? But that all changes when you get a Savinho on the left and an Eze playing in the 10, because teams have got 3 of them to worry about then, not just the one of them. So just those signings straight away for me will make Kudos look better on his own as well. You know, and there's levels to it, Savva. We can't expect to be going. Tottenham are not that team that go, bang, Rodrigo, bang, Joe Block, bang, 100 million, 120 million. We're not that team.
No.
We're just not that team. Levy's too risk averse for that. You know, it weren't so long ago that they were banging on about we wouldn't be paying £80 million for a player. We don't do that. You know, but we're getting up there now because that's the sort of money that they're going to have to pay to acquire the better players, not the best.
Yeah.
Better players.
Yeah, look, I think it's interesting, Ben. But look, I think that Spurs fans more than any, you can tell we haven't had a lot of success because I feel like we're one of the only fan bases that talk about a starting 11. You know, when I look at the Chelsea fans, the City fans, the Liverpool fans, they're talking about squads. You know, they don't go, oh, why buy him? We've got him. They go, oh, yeah, get him in as well. And we seem to be very much the opposite. We seem to be very much, oh, we've got an 11. Right, go and win the league. Go and get top four.
It's not how football works.
Work like that, does it? It's not what modern day football is about.
It's why we always say, Savva, prime Pochettino, if he had 3 more players, we would have won the league. You can't win a league with a great starting 11 because injuries happen. The intensity of football now is off the scale. The speed that the game is played at, injuries happen all the time. You've got to have fit and proper players on the bench that aren't just backups. We hate the word backup here. The word backup is such a silly word. It's competition. You need to have someone on your shoulder saying, if you're not playing well, I'm taking your shirt, mate. I'm taking your shirt off your back. And that's what we need. We need players that are going to come in and put in a proper performance, put a 7 out of 10 performance in immediately. You've got to have a squad of players. You've got to. That's the way football is now. As Alf says, 60 to 70 games in sometimes. The speed of the game, it's massive. It's massive.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. I completely agree with you. Look, it's going to be an interesting one. Look, we have got we've got is it today 19 days, I believe it is 19 days of the window to go. Now, obviously, I know that's probably going to be swept under the carpet today because of the Super Cup. But the Premier League starts on Saturday, guys. And the last thing I want to talk about before we end the show in the next 10 minutes is Burnley at home. On paper, right, when that gets announced, we all sit there and go, Burnley at home, they just been promoted, 3 points, boom, great start. Is anyone slightly worried about it? Like in terms of we know that Burnley are going to come and they are going to sit in a low block, right? And they are going to say, break us down Scott Parker style. Is anyone worried at the moment about that game?
We lost to Leicester last year. We lost to Ipswich last year. We lost to we lost to almost everyone. Did we actually do a double over anyone last year? That's a question. Did we do the double over any team? Man United. That's the only team we did the double over.
United.
we lost to a lot of relegation fodder last year. We showed last year we can lose to anyone. We've got to put that to bed now. We've got to say that's water under the bridge. We've got to say water at Brentford as well. Thank you, George. Brentford.
Yeah.
Brentford, yeah.
We've got to say,
and you're forgetting
Saints.
The mighty Southampton.
How many games did we win in the season? Is it 10?
Not many.
10,
yeah.
And 6 of them were against these?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. The 7th one would have been Man City. The 8th one would have been Ipswich.
Yeah.
Everton would have been 9.
Yep.
Oh. Anyone in the chat?
Isn't it great, when you see the comments in the chat and the comment is, I know we lost 22.
Yeah. No one knows how many we won, but we lost 22. Right, guys, this is Ipswich.
Villa was Everton, the 10th one.
Ipswich, Everton, Villa, and City. Wow. Oh, 11 wins. Was it 11? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. 11
So we got
wins.
to put it. We got to put. What's we got to say? West Ham as well.
West Ham.
We got to say water under the bridge. Let's beat some teams. Thomas Frank knows how to beat a low block. Thomas Frank knows how to beat a low block. Let's show it. Let's beat a low block. Let's fire some crosses in the box.
Yeah.
Let's win a game of football. I'm looking forward to it. Chit King is back. Big up the Chit King. If you don't know, get to know. In the words of Mr. Box Office, Chit King is the best place in the world, and it's going to be fun seeing everyone. I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah. Oh, Spurs. Yeah, listen, you've got the first 3 games. You've got Man City away, tough. It doesn't matter. It's Man City away. But you've got to get 6 points from the 2 home games, right? You've got to get 6 points from Burnley and Bournemouth. You've got to. At the moment, I'll be honest, I don't know how confident I am of those 6 points. Bring in Eze and Savinho before Saturday. I'm bloody confident of 6 points against those 2 clubs. Is that fair? Is it that cut and dry?
I agree with what you're saying, Savva. At the same time, what I will say is we've got what we've got until the players come in, if they come in, right? Now, we all know there's players in this squad that we don't necessarily think are the best. Players like Tell haven't shown apparently what they're capable of, Odiber, so on. Listen, until these new players come in, these boys have got a chance. This is their window now, right? Whether they can do it or not, if they're picked without these new players coming in, this is their window to show what they can do. Tell, 40 million quid, Savva, whether you rate him or not, whether he's shown you anything or not, the time is now to show. Show us a bit of what you've got. Yeah, whether they can do that or not is another matter. You know, I had a debate about, I know, you know, Mark loves Johnson, and we were talking about Johnson last night. Yeah, he scored a shitload of goals last season, right? What else did he do? Not a lot. Not a lot. He's got like I was saying to Mark last night, we need to see more from the likes of Brennan Johnson when they play. Not just scoring the goals, but in the game itself.
Against Burnley, if listen, every time I talk about Odegaard, Tell and Brennan Johnson, I get a list of people who defend them. Okay, Burnley. That should be a game then where they stand out.
Yeah.
If they're any good and we're playing the team that got promoted last year, those 3 should absolutely rip Burnley apart at the back. Let's see. Let's see if they do. Because there's always an excuse. They're young. I'm not using that excuse anymore. Tell might be young, but he's had a number of years of experience at top-level football. Brennan Johnson's not young. He's 24. He's played for Wales for about 5 years. Do you know what I mean? He's got 2 years under his belt at Spurs, 3 or 4 years under his belt at Nottingham Forest. These players have to step up. And if they can't against the likes of Burnley, then I want to stop seeing them being heralded as, oh, but I see something in them. Oh, I don't care what you see in them. Let's see it on the pitch.
Yeah, it's time to deliver, Savva, at the end of the day. It's time to deliver. If Spurs are not going to get the players in that the fans want as such, you know, the better players, the Savinhos, the Ezes, and they've brought in your Tells, your Odiberts that by Spurs standards weren't cheap. 40 million, 35 million, so on. They've spent the money. Solanke, 65 million. They all need to pull their finger out their arse and get on with it, mate. One way or the other, they've got to deliver for the team. And if they're not good enough, get them out and get players in that are good enough. That's the bottom line, because the Cookmeister said so.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people say there's no place on the wing for Johnson. He ain't a winger. I don't know what he is. I keep hearing he's an inside forward. But as a forward... but as a forward in modern football, you need to be able to control a ball. You need to be able to hold the ball up. You need to have a bit of strength. He hasn't got any of that.
It's a bit more old school, isn't it? He's the Jermaine Defoe, which goes, of course, nowhere near as good as Jermaine Defoe.
Ever say those two in the same sentence again? Don't you
dare.
dare.
Goal Savva. That's what Jermaine Defoe did.
Don't you
what he
dare.
did. He's the little man you put next to the big man. He's the guy that you put next to a really tall, lanky, strong bloke that runs in behind. So the bloke who's the footballer knocks the ball down and gives it to him to finish. That is what he is. He's a bit old school in that matter. But of course, Jermaine Defoe is far better than Brennan Johnson. I love Jermaine Defoe. Can we sign Jermaine Defoe now? I'd rather have Jermaine Defoe than all our strikers at this moment.
I'd love Jermaine Defoe.
But people disagree. But he got, how many, was it 25 GA last year for Brennan Johnson? It's not bad numbers, is it? It's not bad numbers. There's one thing none of you can deny. The bloke scores. If you give him the ball in the 6-yard box, he puts it in the back of the net.
Sure.
He can't do anything else, but he can finish.
Yeah, but that's the problem. In a game where he's not doing that, you're playing with 10 men.
Indeed. I do agree with you. I would agree with you.
And top clubs don't have that. Top clubs don't have players like that in their 11 that do that. They just don't. Look, guys, got a long day today because of the Super Cup, so I'm not going to go on forever this morning. I'm going to do a couple of super chats though. I agree. This Alf, absolutely. For me, bring the bloke off the bench, tiring legs, last 20 minutes, you need a goal. For me, I think when he's starting, it's like playing with 10 men. Let me have a look at the super chats. Big up to the Sheriff, said the stadium is to attract top players. Where are they? We don't need top players. There's fans like you out there absolutely praising crap players like Brennan Johnson. Why do you need to attract top players if you've got Brennan Johnson? Think about your logic. If you're going to praise the mediocre players, why do you want to attract top players? Can't have it always, Mark. Big up to you, my man. Much love. Big up to Emma Morton, who's become a YouTube member at last, Emma. Well done. Thank you for joining the Spurs. Spurs? I'm not Spurs Football Heritage. I'm Football Heritage TV. Guys, girls, I do have a video going live in 5 minutes if you would all pop over to the Spurs 5 to watch it. What I will do, though, is let me be nice to somebody. Where should we send you? Who's live? Let's see who's live. Add. Who's live? Hooks, Blue Brother, never found. There's no Spurs channels live at all right now. What time? Kate and Jim are going live at 12:30. So I'll hold on for a few seconds. Kate and Jim are going live. Oh no, that's tomorrow. Ignore me. It'd help if I reset it for today, wouldn't it? 1 second. I'm having a mare. 1 second. Kate and Jim, is this it? Hang on. Oh, this could be today's. Yeah, there we go. Kate and Jim. So Kate and Jim are going live at 12:30. Just quickly before we go, we've got 3 minutes before Kate and Jim go live. Let me message them and tell them to get to go live. Basuma, end of the road. End of the road, free Basuma.
Get him gone.
Go on, mate. He's got to go.
Get him gone. Give his shirt number to Eze. That's what I want to see. Give Paul Gascoigne's number to Eberetre Eze.
Yeah, for me as well. There comes a point in your life, Ben and Savva, where, you can enjoy yourself, you can do your thing, but he's a professional footballer at the end of the day. The spotlight is on him. As good or as crap as you think he is, he's a professional footballer. Everyone's watching everything that they're doing, right? So he's not only been caught once, now he's, and was before Thomas Frank, as far as I'm aware, not good at timekeeping. Now, Thomas Frank made it quite clear when he came, because I read it myself, that he does not take fools lightly, right? Mm-hmm. Basuma's being a dickhead again, mate. Being late for training on more than one occasion. What does he expect? It's like going to school in the morning, isn't it? Being half hour late and not expecting the headmaster not to say anything to you. Not to ask you where you've been. Why was you not on time? Again, mate, he's one of them. Just get him gone, get the money back in and reinvest it into whatever you're going to do, to bring better players in. That's just if you can get 20 million for Basuma, 15 million for Solomon.
Do you know what I mean? You start getting in, you know, try and get 20 million for Richie. Start getting in. That pays for Savinho. There you go. Yeah. Those 3 pay for Savinho. Yeah, it's 3 for 1, but I'd rather 1 of him than 3 of them. Do you know what I mean? So I think we've got to start getting a few off the books. I've never known a club so bad at selling, ever. Like, we are so bad at selling.
Rubbish.
So bad.
We can't give players away after time, Sav.
Yeah. I think the thing is, Daniel, I agree, but I think a lot of clubs will realise that players do down tools and start doing this when they want to leave. I don't think the clubs in Turkey or Saudi or whatever will care that he's been late for training. I don't think they'll worry about that. But I hear what you're saying. But listen, guys, please get over and subscribe to these 2 gentlemen. Please get over and subscribe to the Coffee Company. Please get over there and subscribe as Ben continues his march. And please get over to the 2 Mark Show and to Pure Coys and subscribe to those gentlemen over there. Always good entertainment. And you get to see the other Mark, who could bore you to tears with all his Brennan Johnson love. On that note, I will be back. I will be back. Sorry, Dean said, "Where's your squad depth, Savva? 3 for 1. Jesus." Yeah, but Dean, Solomon was on loan last year. Basuma doesn't play in that same position. I don't know if that makes sense, Dean. I didn't say sell them all and don't bring any footballers in, did I? People have got to use their ears. I'm going to send you all over to Kate and Jim. Please, when you get over there, Savva Raid, smash the subscribe button, show some love to all the content creators. I'll be back at 6 p.m. for all the build up to Tottenham versus PSG. Thank you to Ben. Thank you to Mark. Much love. Take care. Thank you for the super chat. Said, I've upgraded my membership. Thank you very much, Emma. I thought you were a member. Take care. Thanks, Emma. Really appreciate you. Hope to see you one day on one of the members' shows. Big up to you. And as always, come on, you Spurs.